I'm still worried about Medicare. Let's get back to that.
Sure.
That's the reason I came to this meeting. When I saw you voted for the Ryan budget, I got a little upset because what it looks like is that myself, I meet the cut. My wife, however, who's a few years younger, and a lot of couples are like that, she's not going to make the cut. We're going to end up with a $6,000 voucher to buy health insurance. My question is,
it's a $15,000 premium support.
How's that?
It pegged to inflation in it.
But what if that money isn't enough? And the thing is, we're going to be out there, people are going to be out there throwing it basically to the wolves who know nothing about health insurance, being asked to go out and choose a health insurer. Right now, we have a system that works. The only thing that we need to do is tweak it and try and finance it. And right now, we're more interested in financing oil companies and everything else under the sun and letting the middle class, fend for themselves. I think there should be some shared sacrifice. I think GE ought to pay taxes. I pay taxes. My wife and I pay a total over the years of 80 years worth of taxes. By the time we retire, we're going to have close to that or more. So I feel that this was our promise, okay? We planned all these years to retire, and that was part of our retirement plan, that there was going to be Medicare. And all of a sudden, we're going to get a voucher. I think privatizing Medicare is a wrong way to go, and I'm very disappointed in the vote for the Ryan budget, because I think there's no shared sacrifice in that. They're saying, and the debt ceiling, they're talking about now they're going to put the country into a credit tailspin by playing this game of chicken, where they're going to see who blinks first. Well, you know what? They're going to raise our debt. If they raise our debt limit, if they don't raise our debt limit in a proper manner, they're going to drive up our interest rates. They're going to lower our bond ratings. And you know what? They had guys on TV the other day, guys like Paul Volcker and people that were on before, that were on the show before, Bernanke, Bernanke's on right now. I guess Alan Greenspan was on. And he just shook his head in bewilderment during these hearings and said, we can't do this. We cannot do this because all of our pension funds are tied into Wall Street. We're having problems funding pensions now. Harrisburg's having trouble funding pensions. Private companies are, and now we're going to play this game of chicken, and if we see that the stock market sees this, they're going to go into a tailspin. Then we're going to see problems with pension funds. You're going to see real problems. This cannot happen.
Well, on the debt ceiling, look, the debt ceiling is going to be addressed, and the issue is, what terms and conditions are going to be tied to the debt ceiling increase. I don't think there are many people in Washington, or around the country for that matter, who just want a simple, straight-up debt ceiling vote. They want us to deal with what's driving the debt. Now, you also mentioned Medicare. Look, today, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of folks, a lot of people out there who provide services to our seniors, healthcare services, who are limiting what they take in Medicare. Medicare is a good program, but it is on an unsustainable fiscal path. That's a fact. It's a fact. I mean, I wish it were different. I wish it were different, but that is the reality. But there's something I want to mention too about this on Medicare. I talked to you about the demographic problem. The 10,000 a day are going on Medicare, 15 million over the next decade. Costs are skyrocketing. When you look at Medicare too, if you look at a couple that's turning 65 right now, and they paid in $109,000 into Medicare. That'll be over a lifetime. They're going to receive probably about $343,000 in benefits. Okay, that's today. I mean, I wish the facts were different.
Look at GE's product.
If you pay it,
what do they pay?
Well, the point is,
anyway.
well, the issue is, somebody announced earlier suggested earlier that we just expand Medicare to everybody. Well, I said it's going broke for the people over. It's going broke for the population currently served. So how do we shore it up for those who are retired or near retirement?
Make the corporations and the oil companies pay their fair share. GE paid nothing last year.
Let's go back to this.
I'll show you my tax bill. I paid Charlie.
The president stood up the other day, he flies on Air Force One, and said if we just raise taxes on corporate jets and the oil company manufacturing deduction, that would somehow fix Medicare. Well, that's not going to fix it. It's not going to be implied. he implied it. I heard the speech. I heard the speech. Somehow that was going to fix, that was going to put us on a path to solve. I mean, I heard the speech very carefully, and I also heard the comment too about, you know, that his daughters do better work than we do. I heard that as well. You know, that was.
Then you missed that point.
You know, my kids show up to school. I wish the president had been part of these discussions sooner. He just showed up. He was AWOL from the discussion. No plan. No plan. He said no plan.
Congress's job to write
I
the
really wish
budget.
he had. I mean, I wish he'd been more engaged in a lot of these discussions.
The Vice President Biden is in, with, you know, the 3 and 3 and then cancel fees. I'm going home because I'm not talking about taxes.
No, I hope the president's engaged now. I really do. I hope he's engaged on this issue. Wait, let me,
Hey,
you're over here.
what about when he did have a plan and when he mentioned taxes, who runs out of there?
Well, I mean, if people were talking about taxes, again, I don't think raising income taxes at a time
That's
like this is
beside
going to
the
help this
point.
economy. It's
That's
not
beside
gonna
the
help raise-
point.
It'll
I
help.
don't think
It'll help with revenues. If you ask wealthy people to help the economy,
It won't.
it's gonna help.
It won't.
If you just say,
It won't help create jobs.
3%, no, certainly it will.
How did cutting taxes under Bush say,
Look, we're trying to get back to fiscal sanity. So ask everybody for a share of sacrifice. We're willing to give our share. We just don't want to see you guys, the Republican Congress say, but tax subsidies for the oil companies are off the table. But tax cuts for the wealthy are off the table. Now, if you want to saddle us with some skin in the game, put some of their skin in the game. Come on, man.
Well, you're the chair of the Democratic Party.
I am. I'm a citizen.
You didn't answer my question
Let
yet.
me be clear one thing. Okay, we say tax the wealthy, okay.
Sure.
Well, okay, well, in the 1960s, we imposed the alternative minimum tax, right?
Yeah.
What was that designed for? To go after about 150 very wealthy families in America.
Right.
Every year, since I've been in Congress, we have to patch the alternative minimum tax to make sure millions of Americans who are middle class don't get subjected to the alternative minimum tax. Every year.
So fix it.
What year
So
was
fix
that?
it.
They never
They chose
indexed it.
not to fix it. So
They
what
never
we're saying,
indexed it.
we're just saying, look, 3% that they gave in 2001. Ask those wealthy people who have been doing great, who were doing better than anyone else. Just ask them to give their fair share. That's all these middle-class people are saying. Don't saddle us with the
When the
whole.
middleman makes so much and pays so much, and the rich man makes so much and pays so much, it would balance out.
Well, I'm just asking, what should the income tax rate be, since you want to raise the income tax?
I think it's fair to say, put the wealthy tax breaks back to where they were before 2001. It's not a big deal.
Which breaks are you referring to? Seriously, I mean, we're talking tax breaks.
We went from 39 to
Oh,
35%.
you just want to raise the rate straight up.
Oh, on the wealthiest people, yeah, because we have a fiscal problem.
Defined as small business in many cases.
It's not, but we're not talking solely that. We're
You know, like the Koch
talking.
brothers, small business.
Exactly. Come on, Charlie, you know that all these things, you guys are protecting your sacred cows, the oil company subsidies. Everybody understands that. Take them, just ask them to stop, you don't need them. The tax cuts for the extremely wealthy, they're doing great, they don't need them. You just can't come to us and say, we're gonna take your Medicare away because we don't think it's working for you.
Well, come on.
No, that's the deal. You're saddling us. You take these things, that's why your boys were walking out of that room. They say, these are off the table. Put them back on the table.
Well,
Tell Mr. Cantor that put them on the table.
Well, let's be very candid here.
Yeah.
You supported the health care law last year. That's the law that cut over $500 billion over 10 years out of Medicare.
Let me address that. That was based on Medicare Advantage, which was a subsidy to the insurance company.
Hospital payment.
It was a subsidy to the insurance companies to have people go to private insurance versus Medicare properly. That's just face the facts.
26,999 Medicare eligible people in this district are on Medicare Advantage. In this district.
That's right. It was a spiff. It was a spiff. Their benefits didn't decrease.
All right, let me have another question here.